Hi everybody and welcome back to my backyard once again. Today we're gonna finally check out the Geprc Darkstar 16, a 1.6 inches 2S little Cinewhoop. The unboxing experience is very nice. You got this little tray with the drone very nicely displayed and is locked by this foam at the back. We got stickers, instructions, micro USB cable and a beefy tool bag with an extra set of Gemfan 1635 propellers, 2 battery pads, gear for the O4 system. Actually, I love they included a super short MIPI cable, a lot of extra screws and grommets, and all the tools you need to service the drone. And as always, you also get a carbon fiber Geprc keychain. The drone feels super high quality, it's all injection molded except for the battery tray, which is 3D printed. The whole top canopy and VTX assembly, camera, VTX and antennas is suspended by silicone grommets, so it will not have any jello. You also have this little piece to further protect the camera from crashes. And you can get the canopy in 2 different colors, orange or gray. The carbon fiber plate at the bottom is 2.5 mm thick and is super rigid for a drone this size. The motors are Geprc 1003 14800 kV. The flight controller is a Geprc Taker F4 with 12 amps ESCs with Blue Jay, and the XT30 is at the back like this. And here at the bottom you also have the micro USB. With the O4 system it will be around 86 grams. And boom, the O4 Pro is finally in. I actually love the way this drone looks, and also it's super tidy inside because it has a very short camera wire. I'm gonna fly first with a 530 milliamps 2S and then with a 750, which barely fits. It is 11 millimeters by 13. I am not able to pull the battery tray from the bottom, it's super secure. Actually, you can do it from the top of the carbon fiber, but you need to tear down the whole drone. But very nice, it has 2 slits, one here and one here. So if you remove it, probably you can also use a very thin battery strap and use whatever battery you want. Okay, boom. It sounds different from the Dollyfly 16 I reviewed yesterday. I don't know how it's more silent, but it has the same propellers, maybe slightly smaller motors, but it's very similar drone. It's less annoying, this one. Sounds maybe cleaner. We are already chasing chicken, I wasn't even noticing it. My hands are muscle memoried into chasing chicken, I guess. This is a very nice drone for this purpose. You can see a little speck on my footage, and that's because I use this in the wooden drone and I hit a rock with the O4, and now I'm wondering if they make replacement lens, because oh my god, this chicken is coming in hot. What? Why are they running so fast? Why are you running? Why are you running? Oh my god. I guess they are not liking this drone too much. Even the cat was scared. It's such a tiny drone. I mean, I chased them with much bigger stuff and they didn't care. And they care. Oh, look, 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 they're all running. I don't know. This must be a standardized test. If the chicken run, the drone is scary for animals. Oh my god. Why I'm in angle? Okay. So, the drone seems to fly very nice. It's slightly, maybe, let me check. So, less wobbly than the Dollyfly. Wow, it flies better than the Cinewhoop 30. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I don't know. Okay, the Dollyfly 16 is slightly better because it has bigger motors. This one is comparable maybe to the Cinewhoop Flylens 85, which is a 2-inch drone. It's gonna be much more efficient. I gotta look at that battery because these little drones don't last very long at all. You are gonna be able to do 3 minutes outdoors, 4 minutes indoors, and that's basically it. If you start pushing them, it's done. So let's see if I can get to 3 minutes, probably yes. The batteries are freshly charged. But I mean, it's a nice drone for indoors, for chicken chasing. But this one is slightly wider. I gotta land. Slightly wider than the Dollyfly 16. You're gonna see later when I compare them. I have not destroyed the battery. 3 minutes and 13. Let's fly again with the 750 milliamps. This time the battery is freshly charged. So it should perform better than the Dollyfly test. How does it feel? Yeah, not bad. And you know what? Maybe the extra kV on these motors pull slightly faster. It has a slightly faster acceleration. I was not expecting this drone flying this good. Still has shakes, but I mean, it's a tiny whoop. It's a very small tiny whoop at that. What is this 40mm props? Is nothing. So it's remarkable that with this weight we are still able to fly this good even at 2S. And it doesn't have jello, it doesn't have super weird vibrations. So of course this is not the drone to take thrashing around. This is mostly a Cinewhoop, a very small Cinewhoop if you need in tight spaces, something inoffensive. And for that, it's great. And as with the Dollyfly, the only gripe I have is the battery life. This is some passion fruit I brought back from Madeira a few years ago, and finally it's growing, and it's also making flowers. I hope I can eat that soon. Okay, it's time to land. We got to 4 minutes. So I feel like this Geprc Darkstar 16, just like its basic brother Dollyfly 16 from sub 250, is a very good drone on its own, and it's promoted because it's built very nicely. It flies really surprisingly good for being only a 1.6 inches, with the only downside being it doesn't have a lot of battery life, 3-4 minutes at maximum. So if you have to do shots longer than that, maybe this is not the right option. But if you fly often over people, indoors, around sensitive areas, being small of course gives you a little bit of edge on safety. And looking at them side to side, they are very similar, like the same height, but if you put them one on top of the other, the Geprc Darkstar 16 is slightly wider. So if you need to shoot tight gaps, maybe the Dollyfly is better. They have different approaches with battery mounting. The Darkstar 16 is undersling and the Dollyfly is top mounted with a pusher design. And actually I have noticed that the Darkstar makes a more pleasing noise. Probably the noise level is the same, but this sounds cleaner, while the Dollyfly is a little bit shrieker sounding and more annoying. So if you're flying indoors and you don't want to disturb too much, maybe this is the winner. It also seems slightly more efficient, while the Dollyfly is slightly better flying. But it's minimal differences, and these two drones are very similar, and it comes basically to personal preference. But if I have to recommend only one drone at this small scale, I will not probably recommend this unless you really need to fly around a lot of people. Because we actually have drones like the Cinewhoop Flylens 85 and the Beta FPV Pavo 20 Pro, and these two drones really are so versatile. You can do indoors and also a little bit of outdoors. The Flylens 85 is lighter somehow than the other two drones and is much more efficient while still flying amazingly well, and really is not that much wider than the Darkstar 16, so you will be able to hit basically the same gaps. And if you need a little bit more power, the Pavo 20 Pro is still very efficient. It has bigger propellers, bigger motors and 3S power. Maybe indoors is gonna be a little bit jumpy, but just put a 2S battery or limit the throttle. It's gonna be very composed indoors, but also be able to fly super nice in urban areas if there is a little bit of wind. You can see I even put a GPS on top, because this drone I carry with me when traveling. And also this one I've used in many shootings. So if you don't have many drones, you're looking for one in this category, probably I will suggest something like this because it's a little bit more versatile and more efficient. On the other hand, if you have many drones, already have something like this, maybe you can consider something a little bit smaller if you need to fly indoors and around people very often. I just wish they made it a little bit narrower so we could have more benefits hitting tiny gaps. And that's all for today. As always, remember to like, subscribe and comment on this video. Let me know what do you think about this drone. I actually think I want to see 2.2 inches in this category because nicely built like this, they're gonna be very nice competitors to the other drones I showed you. If you want to buy something, check out the links in the description below because clicking on them, you help my channel a lot and also you will find a discount. Thank you so much, stay safe and happy flying. Bye!